Hey guys, this is Pastor Dave. Welcome to another midweek chat. Today I'm going to start a series that I'm calling Making Every Day Matter. Today, of course, is part one, but before I get into my lesson, I want you to know that this coming Easter, of course, which is Sunday, we're having a guest speaker named Mike Licona. He's going to be preaching at 9:30 and 11. Mike is an expert on the subject of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And I want to invite you to come and bring someone. This very well could be the greatest message on the resurrection that you've ever heard. And I do hope that you'll join us at one of our services, but also this coming Saturday at 9:45, he is going to be having a seminar here at our church called The Historical Reliability of the Gospels. Now, we're going to meet in the gym at 9 o'clock for some refreshments, but then we're going to go to the auditorium for him to begin his lecture at about 9:45. Mike has co-authored a book with Gary Habermas, who's a professor at Liberty University, called The Case for the Resurrection of Jesus. He also has some other writings out there. He is a college, he teaches at a college, and he has a PhD. And I've known Mike for years. I had Mike here in the 80s to teach a karate class, and he taught my two oldest boys, and so Mike was just in his 20s then. Anyway, it'll be good to see Mike. I haven't seen him since then. Of course, we've talked on the phone, but Mike indeed is a scholar. And I hope that you'll be joining us for this very special Easter, and consider the lecture or seminar on Saturday. Now, Making Every Day Matter, Part 1. Every day really does matter. For example, there was a day when you were born. Was that not an important day or what? There was a day when you recognized your mother. That was a good thing. There was a day when you learned how to walk. There was a day when you went to school for the very first time. Those days mattered. There was a day when you graduated from high school, and then there was a day when you left home for the very first time. Those days mattered. There was a day when you heard the gospel, if you're a Christian, and I hope that you said yes to Christ. If you did say yes to Christ, that was the most important decision that you could ever make on any given day. That day, above all days, would be the most important day. We need to realize, beloved, that our days are numbered. Psalm chapter 9, verse 12 says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." A part of the commentary regarding this verse from Nelson's NKJV Study Bible goes like this: "What Moses needed was a new understanding of the meaning of his own life. Number our days. This is more than just having a sense of mortality. It means valuing the time we do have by using it for eternal purposes." End of quote. If you had the ability to analyze every single day of your life, how many of those days did you read the Bible? How many of those days did you pray? How many of those days did you make your life available to Christ to be His witness? How many Sundays did you attend church? How many did you miss? How much service did you give in some type of Christian service to be a blessing to others? How consistent were you in regards to tithing your income and giving to missions and honoring the Lord with your financial resources? How many days did you strive to really be a good follower of Christ, a good husband, a good father, a good grandpa, a good friend? Every action we take on a daily basis complements our growth. Every action we take on a daily basis that we decide to complement the cause of Christ is a day that matters. I'd like to begin with my first point, which is making every day matter with the right attitude. William James said, people can alter their lives by altering their attitudes. The choice of a right attitude is so foundational as we purpose to make every single day of our lives really matter. Charles Swindoll said, the longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string that we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced, Swindoll goes on to say, I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. That is so true. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. End of quote. If your days ahead are to become days that really matter, you must take charge of your attitude. What is not changing is the aging of our bodies. We can change. What can change is our attitude about it. I welcome every birthday. I want my next one too, because I don't like the alternative. I believe I saw this on Facebook. I'm pretty sure I saw it on, well, I saw it on social media. Clint Eastwood was asked, what keeps you going? He said, I get up every day and don't let the old man in. Now, at my age, I love that. Eastwood turns 92 next month, May 2022. A healthy stream of thinking would be to think about our future glorified bodies. Hey, I've got a great glorified body that is yet to come, and this is just a temporary tent or temporary dwelling. And I want to glorify God with this body too, as long as I'm in it. But we need to realize that our glorified bodies are going to be far superior than this one here. What may never change is a physical infirmity, but you can have a right attitude towards it. You know, just as I sincerely, as I get older, I don't want to be a grumpy old man. I want to be joyful, and I want to be pleasant to be around. I want to be a blessing no matter how many years God gives to me. But we also sometimes encounter physical infirmities that, well, we need to have the right attitude towards whatever infirmities that we may have. Remember, God made us the way we are for a purpose. Years ago, I had a speech impediment. When God called me into the ministry, I had a speech impediment. And I've never doubted my call to the ministry. Now, I could have had the attitude, well, I have a speech impediment, so I can't preach. I can't do that. But I knew God called me, and it was His responsibility to take care of the speech problem. It was my responsibility to say yes to His calling and to be obedient. In the years to follow, the Lord would begin to heal me of this speech problem. I still have some speech problem, but it doesn't stop me. And I'm thankful for it now. I can't say I was overly thankful for it in the beginning, but I'm thankful for it now because it's taught me dependence on the Lord Jesus Christ. He keeps a little bit of that speech problem with me just to remind me, Dave, remember who's doing this, not you, it's me. Is that a blessing or what? Of course it is. Not very many people believed in my calling, but that's okay, because God has been so good to me and my family, and He has healed me of the speech problem, leaving a little bit there. And the main thing is that we do God's will and have the right attitude towards these challenges in our life. We should never let these challenges stop us, but it should teach us to trust in the Lord all the more. Remember Paul's thorn in the flesh? He had one. But God said, my grace is sufficient for you. God's grace will be sufficient for you too. There are many things in our lives that we may not absolutely have any control over. Some we have no control over. But one thing we can have control over, and that is our attitude, our response to these challenges. Folks, let's have a sweet attitude, and therein lies great victory. See you next week.